I'm talking, talk about the government shutdown and immigration. And I want people to know that I think that it is a shame that this government, the United States of America, is shut down. And the thing is, there are people that are in the military that are not being paid. Me being an ex-military person, and I guess whether belong to you're in the Army, the Marines, Air Force, or National Guards, or Coast Guards, uh, whatever. You know what? I think that it is just unfitting. It's wrong to be in the military and not be able to get a paycheck. But from what I understand is that one of U.S. President Donald Trump's donors has offered to pay the military, and I don't know whether that has been accepted or not, and I think that it should. And I just feel so bad. I'm broadcasting from the United States in Chicago, Illinois, and I feel so bad for all the people at the Pentagon, okay, that have lost their gainful employment. They are just laid off. I feel sorry. I feel sorry for them. You know what? Because I cannot. I cannot imagine being in a situation where I work for the federal government and my paycheck is taken because they cannot. The government cannot come to a resolution to end this quagmire that we are in, you know. And you have some people, you can call if you want to, you have some people that say, hey, you know what? I don't care, man. I don't even vote. And the thing is, I never really understood people that did not vote. I never really understood that. But I will say, if you do not vote, if you don't choose to participate in the political system of the United States of America, whether you're a Democrat, you're a Republican, or you're independent, you really don't have a legitimate reason to complain about anything. And you know what? I often ask people, when we're talking about the government shutdown and we talk about immigration, you know what? I just have a habit of asking an individual, did you vote? And you know what? You'll be surprised at the people that say, no, I did not vote. And you know what? And in my mind, you know what I think that I just dismiss these people because I think if the government shutdown and immigration was not enough to was did not put anything in your subconscious mind and say, you know what, I'm going to the polls. But I think that you should vote and exercise your political right to vote anyway. But some people say that what the government they're gonna do what they want to. But I'd like to know for people out there, you know what? How? How has it affected you as as a person? The government shutdown. I'm gonna share my story. It affected me, and I'm pretty sure it's affected millions of other people. What happened is I needed to go down to Social Security, okay, and go take care of some business. And what happened is I said to myself, you know what, I'm gonna go early in the morning because I generally like to go early in the morning to I generally like to go early in the morning to take care of my business. Okay, so I'm not the only one that feels that way. Um, what happened is I went down to Social Security, and what happened is like in Chicago. Okay, what happened is the room was filled up. Okay, and then when I got there, you know what? They made an announcement over the telecom, the loudspeaker saying, "You know what? We cannot see you because of the government shutdown. We cannot see you unless you have an appointment." I was like, "Damn, you know what? I was upset about. I wasn't upset, but you know what? I always say that you should call first before you go someplace, but I didn't. I didn't. It just didn't come to my mind that the government shutdown was going to affect Social Security, and it affected me. And you got some people say, "Oh man, it doesn't affect me. What they do. Yeah, government does affect you in one way or the other. I could affect you in one way or the other." And what about you? Did you go down to Social Security? Did you go to try to get a link card that helps people to get food subsidies? And what happened is you went down to the office and it was just closed. What happened? What is your story? What is your story about the whole situation? And I never, you know what, the impact, like I say, it's just, I think it's horrendous. It's horrible to be in the U.S. Navy, the Army, or the Marines, and know that the government is shut down, which prevents you from getting a paycheck. That is wrong. And there's some people say, man, they can volunteer and come to work. I mean, why would you volunteer to come to work? I mean, you know what? But I commend the air traffic controlmen, because you know what? There are air traffic controlmen that are going to work. They're going to work. And you know what? And they know they're not going to be paid. And you know what? I think I said something when somebody made the statement, are they going to get any back pay? And you know what? It appears to me that you know what? That they may not get back pay. So, in other words, I would say for myself, I could not go to work. And you know what? Back doing when I had my children, I could not go to work and know that I could not get capital to support my family, because I like them. I would find other means rather than going to a work and putting in 8 hours and not getting paid. It's not fair. And then to come out and say, you know what, now you're not going to get paid. I had a problem with that. And I mean, who do you blame? I mean, do you? Do you, as a human being, as an individual, do you blame the Democrats for this? Or do you blame the Republicans in the United States for the government shutdown? Okay. The Republicans' talking point is that I did something, I put something in Chat GPT. You know what? I did it to get information about the shutdown. And one of my colleagues challenged me. They challenged me to do more research. And I was glad I was glad that I took the challenge. My cat sort of trying to get in on the picture. And the thing is, it challenged me. And so Chat GPT, I went to and I asked, who is right on the shutdown? Is it the Democrats or the Republicans? And you know what? I was surprised. I was surprised by the results. You know what? Because what happened is I did a video on it, and it says the chat GBT told me I had assumed that illegal immigrants and people in sanctuary city, I had assumed that they got Medicare. I had assumed that, and you know what? I was wrong. I was wrong. Okay, and what what the Republicans want is what the Republicans are saying is that it is wrong for someone to get capital that did not follow the protocol to come into the country. Okay. But after doing extensive research, I found out that illegal immigrants, they are not entitled to Medicare. Why? Because they're here illegally and they did not follow the process to come into the United States of America. Although they went although they went to a sanctuary city. They did go to a sanctuary city, but and then I would say I have to do some more research because I should have put in there was it an exemption because they went to a sanctuary city, and what happened in cities like Chicago and New York, California, that they overlook it. But I didn't do that. But it did say after doing the research that immigrants that come in from these countries, not just Mexico and Central America, that did not follow the protocol to come into the country, that they could not get Medicare. And the Republicans' talking point is, you know what, with the bill coming up for the budget, which has required the government shutdown in the United States in year 2025, is that for it is wrong for illegal immigrants to get Medicare. Okay. And they're saying that, so how can you say that? And the research I did is they don't get Medicare, but it's saying that the Democrats, what they want to do is they want to add illegal immigrants on Medicare, prevent them. But like I say, legally they couldn't get it. But they're saying is that the Republicans want to include them and people that came into the country and didn't follow the protocol. And what happened is the Republicans are saying, you know what, we're not going to sign the bill. We're not. And you know what? I think it's just, I think in some ways, when I sit back and look at it, I think if an individual did, even if they came into the country illegally, if they came in illegal, if there was emergency, if there was something that was life threatening, life threatening illness, think that they should be able to get aid and assistance from Medicare. Okay. But what the Republicans want to do is, after sitting down and read the research, they're saying no Medicare whatsoever. And they're saying that the people that are already in the United States that have followed the protocol to become U.S. citizens, they want to disqualify them from using Medicare. And you know what? My opinion has changed, and you changed somewhat, because I think if you follow the protocol to come into the United States of America, you should be able to use Medicare. That's what I believe. And I do not believe also believe that if there's emergency, if there's trauma that occurred, I just think that it would be. I think I'm not going to say think. I know that it would be inhumane for an individual to come into that has come here illegally, and they are hurting, they are injured. And what happened is, and they try to go to a trauma center and they could not get insurance. I just think that that would be wrong. That would be wrong. What do you think? Do you think it would be wrong? Do you think it would be right? You know what? You think I don't even know what I'm talking about? And I think that the ICE agents that are in the United States of America and have been dispersed to sanctuary cities, I think that their heavy-handed tactics are wrong. Okay, I do. I happen to believe that there's no reason that you should do something that is harmful. There's no reason that a ICE agent, okay, a National Guardsman should do something harmful, okay, to individuals that are peacefully protesting. It is wrong to do this because I've seen videos, you know, on mainstream television in the United States of America where there has been Gestapo-like tactics. Whereas what I mean by Gestapo-like tactics is they have pushed people to the ground and they have thrown tear gas, okay, and some type of devices to disperse crowds. Telephone number, if you would like to get in, is 312-884-9757, or you can leave a message in the chat. Okay. And I think that it is wrong to use these heavy handed tactics to hurt people that are peacefully protesting against what they perceive to be bad behavior or wrong behavior of the U.S. government. This is wrong, because, and you know what? What do you think? Do you happen to think that it is wrong to disperse a crowd of people that are peacefully protesting? Okay. Do you happen to think that it's wrong? I think it's wrong because you know what? I went overseas. First of all, I went over money, but you know what? But you know what? But I was fighting for the nation, you know, and I hope that I was not fighting to protect the rights of people that are rich and powerful, and the individuals in the middle and the top that they're what they really think does not matter. I hope I didn't go there for that reach, what, and think that it is wrong. And I was looking at something on television, and what happened is the crowd was there, okay, peacefully protesting. But what happened is the ICE agent or possibly National Guards, they threw a tear gas bomb, a cartridge towards the crowd to disperse the crowd. And you know what? I just look at these as the Gestapo, Hitler-like tactics. That's something it reminds me of something that the SS did. Not that I'm, you know what? It's just a contrast and comparisons, and I think that that's wrong. And but I will say this: if they threw something at the ICE agents, okay, if they fired a shot or they injured an ICE agent or National Guard, I will believe that they have the right to defend themselves, to disperse the crowd, and to protect fellow ICE agent or the National Guards. They got the right, to do that. But you know what? There's just so much that is going on in the United States of America, and it just seems like, you know what, economically, we are losing out. We are losing out because even if they take care of this situation with the budget, they take care of it, they're raising up the debt ceiling of the United States of America. They need to figure out a solution. So, give you a small example. If you own a house, okay, you own a house, and what happened is you're paying bills, you're paying more money, you're paying more money for bills than what you actually making. And you just printing up extra dollar bills. You printing up extra, you printing it. Okay. So in other words, the more money that you print up, use the Federal Reserve to take care of your deficit in your household. This is devaluing the dollar bill. Well, so therefore, in my household, that dollar bill will almost be worthless. And I just don't know how the United States just got in this situation. I mean, the United States is in debt to China. And you know what? And these tariffs, I understand about the tariffs. But the thing is, it's a tax. It's a tax. We will be in charge. It's not really, in a sense, it could even the playing field. It could. But getting back to the deficit, they have something called bricks. And I'm not talking about Brick House. There was a song called Brick House, where they the United States was on the gold standard. It was on the gold standard, meaning the money that you had in your pocket, it was backed up by gold. Okay, but we came off of the gold standard during President Nixon's administration. He was president of the United States because of the overspending. And what happened is every single I'm not going to say since he's been in president in my time, what happened is the U.S. government keeps on going up on the debt ceiling. In other words, they're printing more and more money because they cannot pay their debts. And what happened is this is devaluing, going down. This is devaluing the dollar bill. And I just don't, I'm not an economist by no means, but I'm saying if something is being devalued, it's becoming worthless. And one danger is that China and the Soviet Union, Russia and India and South Africa, the BRICS, they have come together. They have come together to and get ready to probably form a currency that is backed by gold. Okay, but the dollar bill is a promissory note that is not backed by anything. Okay, it's a promissory note. So the danger is once, and you probably say, why? They don't talk about this much in the news about BRICS. I heard President Trump mention it one time. But the thing is, their currency, once they create one, it will be backed by gold like the dollar bill used to be backed by gold. And you know what? I just hope that I'm not around when they say one day, you know what? We're not going to Russia, China, okay, India, and all these other countries. I hope they don't say, because they're producing goods for the United States of America. I hope one day they don't say, damn, you know what? That dollar bill is not worth anything. Okay, it's not backed by anything, but what we have is backed by gold. I hope it doesn't come a day where they say, you know what, we these countries say, you know what, we got them. We are not going to accept the dollar bill anymore because the United States has devalued the dollar bill. And what happened is when something is being devalued, it is down there. I was almost say devalued and saying, you know what, you're gonna have to get our currency. You're gonna have to find some type of gold to trade with us because I think this is why the United States and Britain they're trying to make currency and get rid of money where you have money currency that's just on the internet. And you know what? You can make up figures. You can make up facts and figures by saying you don't have physical currency anymore. All you have is digital currency. I'm talking about people that know how to utilize the internet, okay, and know how to circumnavigate around cryptocurrency and all this. And you know what? But that will still have America in the same position, even if they came to currency that and got rid of physical dollars and physical coin. That was still the United States would still be in their position. And I think that these nations like China and Russia, India, South Africa, they're realizing that you know what, we cannot depend on the dollar bill because it has fallen in value. So we have to make our own currency. So the dollar bill cannot be weaponized. Cannot be weaponized against us anymore. And this is a danger. It is it is a danger. And so therefore, if it is not weaponized, I'm saying if you cannot weaponize your dollar bill against me anymore, meaning if I do something to that is against your policy, against your will, you know what? I can put a sanction on you, okay, to prohibit you from conducting your daily business, to hurt you on your budget because you have invested American dollars into something, and I can like put you on punishment. And I think that President Xi of China is looking at that, and I think that the Russian president, which I don't understand I understand what he's doing in the Ukraine. I think that they're looking at this on a monetarily wise. They're saying, damn, you know what? And you know what? People out there love the United States. This is where I live. But you know something? It's like the United States wants to control the whole world. And you know what? Economists said something that I look at. You say the United States wants to control the whole world. But when you look at the United States compared to all the BRIC nations that are coming together to create their own currency, the United States compared to the whole BRIC nation, he made a comparison. He said the United States is just 4% of the population, and BRICS, the people that are coming together to form their own currency, they are 64%. So what can 4% do against 64%? And what happens is that That what happened is that number with BRICS and creating their own currency, that number is not decreasing, it's increasing. So, so I think at some point, these nations that belongs to BRICS forming their own currency, they're gonna say we will not accept the dollar bill anymore. And you know what? And the thing is, since they are in debt, since the United States is in debt with these countries, they kill me. It's funny. It's not really funny to me. They talk about, oh, TikTok is evil. TikTok is evil. Okay, TikTok is a social media platform. Okay, they're collecting our information. They're collecting our information. You know what doesn't make it's craziness to me. Okay, is you're hollering about TikTok, China having TikTok, and they're harvesting the information and using it for the CCP. I'm talking about the Communist Party in China. But the thing is, what's mind-boggling to me is that China, this president leader, this president Xi, they're buying farmland and they're buying companies in the United States of America, and they have bought farms that are right next to military installations. They have bought corporations in the United States of America, and they have you. So therefore, once you buy a company, that intellectual information is yours, and they used it, weaponized, done it in a smart way. You know what I'm saying? The masses are concentrating on TikTok, a social media platform, but here it is, China is buying up so much land and companies in the United States, and even buying land by military bases, which would give them the ability, if they really wanted to, if they really wanted to collect information and mega data and transmit and hear transmissions and collect data, if there was something to really break out in the United States. And it gives China an edge. It gives China an edge, which they are partner with the Soviet Union. I mean, not Soviet Union, I mean Russia. And it gives them an edge. And China is also also buying a multitude of land in Africa, because they know, in spite of what people used to say about the United States, people swaying from trees and all that, it is a country that is rich in minerals like copper, platinum, and they're buying it up. And genius thing about it is, you know what they're doing is they're giving leaders loans in Africa. They're giving them, and they know they've already calculated. Damn, you know what? We're gonna give this to them. They will never have the ability to pay it back. But we're gonna we're giving them, but to the thing is, for collateral, okay, to make sure if they don't pay the debt, we will include in the contract of the agreement that, you know what, that we could take over this port. And what happened is, this ports that are in Africa in strategic position, they will say we will put your Africans to work if we do take over, but that is not their intentions. And the thing is, they will have ports all over Africa, and they're buying up Africa, they're buying it up. And the thing is, That would give them more control. That would give them much more control than what they. I'm not gonna say them what they wanted, and I would say that U.S. is being outsmarted because they want to do things the old way. So China, it appears as though they're the juggernaut. China, like what's going on in Venezuela and what's starting to go on in Central America, what China is doing, they're negotiating deals close to the United States hemisphere with countries like Venezuela and other countries. And the thing is, these countries may not have the best interest towards the United States and their drug cartels that run these governments. Okay. In some instances, not all instances. And actually, I think even with Cuba, I think that the Soviet Union Russia may even have weapons there, I have ships there. And China, from what I understand, is they have given Venezuela, who we at odds with, they have given them missiles that could cause havoc in the United States of America. And the thing is, it's like I used to say Russia is getting surrounded, the United States is getting surrounded. And you know what? I feel very sorry for my grandkids. You know why? I'm close to 65, almost 70 years old. You know what? My time is almost over. And I think that they're oblivious. And China, when it comes to technology, they're making more robots. They're going making more robots and humanoids than Tesla. And what happened is, once you put those humanoids in your home, okay, to cook for you, to clean for you, to walk your dog, there may be a you know what, this metadata that these humanoids collect will go into a cloud. Okay, a cloud is for the internet where it collects information, and that information goes back to China. And they, you know what, and they can use that to their advantage, okay? Because I'm not a marketing person, and I most certainly don't want to do anything devious. But there are people that have devious minds, okay? That robot or that humanoid, I'm pretty sure can make a suggestion because you become dependent on it. So you know what? Why don't you buy a tie, you know, Mr. So and so, because a marketer could have obtained metadata and made a deal, okay, but not say it in an obvious way, but say it in a subtle way. The United States is just behind when it comes to robotics, and Tesla. You know, as good as Tesla Optimus is going to be economically, Tesla cannot produce robots and humanoids and scale. Scale means have so many and drop the price. It compete with China when it comes to humanoids. So you know, so therefore there's robots and there are humanoids that can be in your home, and that system may have a back door, okay, a protocol whereas this information goes back to a server in China, wherever they want to put it, and they collect it and use it to their advantage. And you know what? It's just so much that is going on. I was thinking, I was talking to one of my brothers, and he said, "Man, I told him, man, I can't wait to get a humanoid to a robot to cook, clean, and he said, brother, do they lie? He said, what you're doing is you're letting the enemy come right into your house. So you've already done it with the smart television. He said they already know what you're doing with your cell phone. They know what you're doing on the internet. But what happened is you letting a foreign entity, okay, because they will be able to scale robots and humanoids down to a price that will be affordable, okay, for the masses, not all. And they will collect. He said they're collecting that information and they're using it. You see, I repeat to you, with that robot cooking for you, it will make suggestions. Oh, you know what? You're using Crisco oil to fry food. Oh, you know what? Oh, don't you try canola oil? So the marketers that know the science of how to get people to do things with your robot saying that, and maybe even your robot flashing up a light. There may be a subliminal message that may come so fast you can't even catch it with the human eye. A color, a code, you don't know. but there's a lot going on in the United States of America, and you know what? My grandkids, you know what? If y'all see this later on, this is the type of work that I like to disseminate information. I do a show called The Underground Railroad. But you know what? To the future generation, I feel sorry for y'all because AI technology is gonna take a lot of y'all jobs. You know, y'all probably will end up getting universal pay, okay, and probably have to get an RDF chip put in your finger, in your neck, in your head. So, like in like in China, they don't have a chip, but the thing is, they can track everybody and what they do. But the thing is, the next generation in the United States, you're controlled right now, and the thing is, my time is almost over in this world. Well, you probably say, why do I say that? Because there's more days in back of me than in front of me. I feel very, very sorry. I do. You know what? You're gonna have to make a decision over whether to get a RDF chip put in your finger or your head, somewhere in your body. So what happened is you go somewhere, you swipe, and they know how. You know what? You can swipe to pay for something. They know exactly who you are and where you are. And the thing is, it will be identical, probably to China right now, but it's going to go deeper than that because they're working with nanotechnology. And believe me, if I know about it, is my friend who's gone now, used to be Alderman Virgil Jones in Chicago, used to say, he said, if we know about this technology, it's old. Like you see me talking on this, the government has something that's way better than this. He said, brother, if we know about this technology, it's old. The people in power have already surpassed this. So, so I think what's going to happen is in the future, like I said, y'all will take a mark, and you know what? You don't have to take the mark. You do not. You don't have to take it. Okay, it's like it was a COVID shot. You had to take the COVID shot to go into certain places. You had to do that. But if you did not do that, it was ostracized. What I mean by ostracized, there were certain things that you were prohibited from doing. Okay, so therefore, the way I'm thinking in year 2025, what happened is you're going to be first. They're going to come to you and they're going to probably come to y'all with movie stars, people that are giants that put a mark, a chip in their finger, and they probably gonna put a little rainbow or put a little star on there, and the star is gonna say that that's cool. That's cool. And you know what? Since they have a million or trillion followers on social media, these people are going to be influenced, not even realizing the individual that has the RDF chip in their finger, their head, they don't even realize that they're being paid, because you don't say that when you go on a commercial, you're being paid. That's just understood. But I think that the masses are so dumbed down when somebody like a Taylor Swift or Michael Strahan or some whoever come on and say, I got a chip in my finger. All I got to do is just pop, put it up to the door and it opens. So all I got to do is just go to the store and pop, it opens. That is cool. But see, they got all them social media followers. They're gonna say, you know what, since they are influencers, the parents in a lot of ways don't have great influence over the kids once they reach a certain age. He's a rock star, okay, from The Kiss. Look at him, man. He's got they say I can get it for free. We're gonna make it convenient. We're gonna make it convenient. I man, all I gotta do is walk to my door and put my finger up there. All I gotta do is go to the store and just wipe my finger. Hey man, I ain't got to worry about nobody stealing my credit card anymore. This is what's going on, and we're moving to a age. When I go to my flying car, can't nobody just use my flying car. All I got to do is put my finger. So we're coming to an age, a technological age, to where you will be controlled, but you know what? You don't have to do it, but you will be ostracized from society. Okay, you'll be prohibited. Okay, but it then is gonna come to a point to where, oh, you know what, man, I can't cash my check if I don't do this. Okay, cannot if I don't get this chip in my finger. If I don't get this chip in my, can't even cash my check. Man, they won't even let me inside the store to buy some food. And you're gonna say, guess I got to do it. Got to do it. I don't want to do it. And then you try to pretend this ain't got nothing to do with the bark of the beast, man. You know what I'm doing, what I got to do to survive. So you use deceptive intelligence to rationalize what you're doing. It's just right. Oh man, I feel so sorry for the next generation. Man. You know what? And you know what's funny is you try to tell them this. They say, wait a minute, look at all the gray I have. He's just a crazy old man. He's a fool. You know what I'm saying? This is what's going on in America. You think the president really calls the shot? They're rich and powerful people that call the shots. I don't care who your next president is, who your next vice president is. Like Alderman Jones used to say, everybody follows orders. Okay. And you think that the congressmen and the senators, which in year 2025, they're putting on shutting down the government and immigration. You think they're doing that on their own? This is planned. This is planned well. And I got to admit one thing. And done this one well. Project 2025, they have implemented. I think Pam Morrison on WBON Gospel Show said that they have implemented 65% of Project 2025, and there's a Project 2030, and that calls for a whole reset of the society. But you know what? You need to do your own research, because Lord knows somebody told me that I didn't even know what they was talking about. Then I said, let me see what they talking about. You remember Project 2025? Okay, it is being implemented. It's being implemented. You know what? They down there completed it. Okay, and Project 2030. Okay, so you know what? So you will follow orders. You will follow orders. If you do not want to follow orders, once this thing go down, you will be ostracized against by the society, and you will be considered a dissident. Dissident means somebody that is troublesome, somebody that is an impediment, like a speech impediment, a hearing impairment. You will be an impediment to the society. Well, y'all need to watch this show called The Matrix. I mean, this video called The Matrix. And you know what? Sophia Stewart, she created it, they stole it. I got to try to get her on the show. But you can really be put in a matrix where you're going to come home. You're going to rush. You're going to rush to get home from whatever you're doing to put on some glasses. Apple or whatever company you have it, Facebook, and they probably be other companies, and you're going to go into an illusionary world with those goggles or glasses on to escape the hell and misery of this world, to go to a world that they have designed for you. And you know what? I feel very, very, like I say, empathy. I feel very, very sorry for the next generation because they're walking into something that they're oblivious to. They don't care. They don't vote. They don't protest. A lot of them don't protest. I'm talking about the my community. They don't protest. They don't even, you know what? The news ratings on world news, regular news has went down. And I think what they have done with social media, Facebook and all these other social media platforms, they have bombarded you. They have bombarded you with so much you can't even really concentrate on what's really, really, really going on. And you mesmerize when an algorithm gives you a like. Somebody throws an emoji with a smile. They have you concentrating on things. It's like if I'm in charge and I got something to do. I got something to do. I got a baby. You know what? I put a toy over there for my baby to play with it, but I'm concentrating on something that ain't even got nothing to do with it. And knows that may happen. That doesn't happen in my generation too. But I say it's much worse for y'all with AI technology, robots, nanotechnology, and chemtrails. What's that? What's that? The foods they make, geo something that they make for chemicals. They even got meat that they make for chemicals. And you know what? I don't know. Fluoride in water. Guilty too. But I do. I feel so sorry for y'all. And you know what? So if this one person looked at this, cool. You know, because you know what? It's about disseminating information. For me, it's about disseminating information and enjoying my retirement. But the majority of if you are able to have a job in the future and not just get universal pay, y'all will be working. But like I say, probably a robot, a humanoid will probably end up being your boss. Because the fascinating thing about that is about the robots and the humanoids, man, they may be the rulers one day because once they learn how to write their own code, once the robot or humanoid learns how to repair itself and repair other ones and share information collectively, I hope y'all don't become a nuisance. Something that the robot or the humanoid say, you know what? Why are we serving something that's inferior to us? That's one danger of AI technology. One danger is you don't even think like you used to. Like I can remember a time where I used to remember 5, 6, 7 telephone numbers because of my phone. Better AI technology. Okay.
Allah,
I don't. It's time for me to pray. Oh yeah.
Allahu Akbar,
Oh, I guess I play it.
Allahu Akbar,
I'm. A,
Allahu Akbar,
I'm a,
Allahu Akbar.
so you know what? Stop. It's prayer time for me. But you know what? Islam, I would say, since it came on, Islam is a growing religion. And one day, you know what? It may be the most predominant religion in the world. And people out there, especially people, and you know what? That's not to harm any other religion or any other people. But you know what? In New York, in New York, Madani, which my Islamic master where I worship as said, Madani, the individual that's running for mayor in New York, he is a good man. So I urge people that, I urge people that are in New York to go out and support Mayor Donnie. I'm not saying his name right. But the thing is, I urge people to go out and support him because I believe what he's doing is good. You know what he wants communities to own stores, to own filling stations, and I think under the right management, he is doing the right thing. So, like I say, this is what my Islamic master said that I go to, Hashid El Farouk, Chicago, that he is a good man. He's a good man. That I'm not no influence, not at all. You get on one vote, but that's in New York in year 2025. So you know what? Probably will have an Islamic mayor in one of the busiest cities in the United States, in New York, year 2025. No matter what they try to derail them, they could try to derail them. But you know what? After it's all said and done, the Lord above is in control. You know, and all this craziness that the news media talks about him. You know what? I'm glad that he's a strong enough man just to be able to have the ability to withstand that and dismiss it and don't even pay attention. You say, he's a Muslim, he's seeking refuge in God. So I urge people, like I said, Masjid I go with, Masjid Al Farouk in Chicago. I hold I hold no official position. So I could say that, but it was announced publicly to do whatever you can to support this man. You know what? In New York, you know what? Because it may be the start. It may be the start of something. I'm not talking about no ignorance or craziness. It may be the start of something that's good for the society and the culture. But really, only Allah knows that. Only God knows that. You know, I don't know anything. I don't claim anything. You know, so there's a lot of trials and tribulations that are coming up. The farmers are complaining that I think Argentina, their beef is cheaper, or something like that being put on the market. You see, China's not buying soybeans, a lot the amount of soybeans they used to buy. In China, they're industrious and they have found, whereas the United States has tried to ostracize them, but they have found other avenues. It's like They don't even want the Nvidia, okay, um, chip, computer chip that much anymore. From what I understand, is they have created a computer chip. They don't even want to. I don't even think they want the Jetson chip that was created by Nvidia, and I'm not even saying it right. They on the stock market because they have created a chip that is more powerful than that, and they've outflanked us in robots, humanoids, AI technology. United States citizens talking about TikTok, which is craziness. China's buying up so much land in the United States of America. BRICS form their own currency, will form their own currency backed by gold, and the dollar bill is not backed by anything. And at some point, once they get it together, as they say, they're probably going to stop accepting the dollar bill and probably the little currency they want to make up to say over the internet, because that really won't hold no value either, because that's really not backed by anything anyway. And China's buying up Africa, and AI technology, robot will be coming in your home that you can buy at a scale price much lower than what the United States makes a Tesla, a Neo, or whatever. And that information will be going to a server back in China. And China, they have massive technology. The educational system is different. They take school more seriously. You had to learn other language to get other language to get out. I think out of eighth grade they go to school longer. They treat their teachers like rock stars. And in America, in a grade school, they grade the kids on a curve. Whereas if I scored 100, they put together all of the averages of everybody that took the examination. And they say, you know what, we can't grade them like we used to. And mental competence not great. So what happened is they take that together, they divide it, and they make the lower score from a D to A by putting a curve on their test results, so they don't feel bad. And I think it's very sad. You know, it's very, very. You might as well go to remote learning. They're gonna do this. I mean, you got all these lights. So what's crazy is in America, you got all these lights. So when you go to a school, it is late at night and nobody's in there, but you got all the lights burning. Won't even use solar power. The hell can you construct something? Okay. And don't use solar power, and it's new because the people are paying for it. There's no reason why I should go in and mop a room, okay, and all the lights in the school are on and ain't nobody there. It should have sensor lights there, and it should have solar energy. But I think it's called the dumbing down of America. America is dummied down. In China, I think the United States has lost its position. And again, I emphasize the United States is just 4% of the total world population when you compare it to the BRIC nations of Africa, of South America. We see in I'm not gonna say India, I guess India and South Africa, Russia, and China. Oh, China, I got to say them, you know. So yeah, I guess what they're saying is the things you used to do in the old world, we're not going to take it anymore. And your dollar bill will never be weaponized against us again. You can hold us at bay. I think it's sad, but like Rodney King, because I believe it's enough on this earth for us all to get along. I really do. I'm gonna end my broadcast. You know what? You're looking at the Underground Railroad podcast. Like it, share it. If you don't like it, you know, I can have no more people look at this show than what Allah wanted to look at it. No matter how I produce it. However God wanted it. If God wants one, Allah wants one person to look at it. You know what? I did my job. I did what I was. I did my boo. I did my mission. Yeah, this is my mission. It's what I enjoy doing. Hell, I'm retired. I ain't hurting nobody. I ain't trying to destroy nobody. I'm just putting out truth as I see it. Uh, Everybody in the words about Salam Alaikum. May Allah bless everybody. Whether you Canada, Asia, UK, or Europe, wherever you are. And the people that are I want to say one thing: the people that are protesting in the UK, saying that they want people removed because they think that their country is being stolen. Shame on you. And you know what? The American news media is not even talking about it. Hundreds of thousands of people in the UK, in England, in Child, people want England for England, and you know what? They want people removed. And something about this is not right. And what's ironic is news media, which I know by now is control. So UK, shame on you, shame, because it ought to be a way to get along. It ought to be. China, what you doing to the Muslims in China, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong for what